So this is the first one of our workshops for Love Biz. You are going to get 2 a month on the first Tuesday and the last Tuesday. And oh my God, we've got some amazing workshops for you. So here we go. Let's start on our LinkedIn Masterclass. So officially welcome everybody into the room. The first thing with any kind of format, whether it be LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, you have got to show up and engage. Remember, if you don't speak at networking events, people aren't going to know you exist. And if you don't engage with other people, whether they're members or new people on LinkedIn, they're not going to know who you are and what you do. So it's really important that you engage with people and don't be some hidden secret that nobody knows about. You've got to get out there. And one of the things that I've done over the last, well, all through lockdown, and I've been on LinkedIn for years and years, when LinkedIn was literally a profile for your CVs. We used to do all our headhunting years ago for our sales managers in my old life, and it was a great format. But really, over the last sort of 6 or 7 years, it's taken some of the good bits from other formats and built them in. And it's quite interesting when people put, I'm so sorry, I've done a Facebook post in LinkedIn, you know, but it is very much about personality and branding and who you are in LinkedIn. So please do remember that. There's 31 million users in the UK of this LinkedIn. So let us let's see there. What we need to do, Pyle, I can see your face. Is that moved along? Can we see a beautiful pink flamingo? Thank you. So ladies, your profiles, you need to be that pink flamingo. You don't want to be hidden away. And your profile is where it all starts. So you need to make sure you build your profile and be seen. And so people know who you are. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop sharing. There will be a little bit of going backwards and forwards. Sorry about that, but I want to show you my LinkedIn profile live. So now I'm going to share my screen again, and I'm going to go into LinkedIn. There we go. And I'm going to talk you around my format. I'm going to see, when I've moved out, I'm going to see if Pyle will stop drinking her tea and just give me a thumbs up when things have moved, because I can only see one person. Thank you. This is my LinkedIn profile. So you'll see it's professionally looking. I could do with a new profile image because I was a very old one with my old hair, but I've just put that one on because my hair's changed so much. And it is nice to see a profile image that is up to date, because I've seen profile images that perhaps are 20 years old. And when you actually meet someone on Zoom, they don't look anything like their profile images. So keep your profile images, it's you, up to date. And your banner here is so important as well. It needs to be on brand and it needs to look professional. It needs to be the right dimensions. Your name. Now, if you've been to my networking events, I'm always saying to everybody, make sure you put your name on the Zoom meeting as you are on LinkedIn. Because if my name is Sue Crooks and I put that, people can find me. But if I put Suzanne Crooks, which is my full name, they're not going to find me. And the worst thing you can possibly do with your profile image, sorry, your profile headlines and names, is put those blooming emojis on the front of your name. I personally hate them anyway. I don't think they look professional. So if you put emojis after your name, you can still be found. If you put an emoji on the front of your name, you're not going to be found. It's going to be much harder to see you. And as I say, we all have our own personal views on emojis, and there's a time and a place for them, but I certainly wouldn't use them in my name. Now, there's something as well. Some people like to put their business names on afterwards, or what they do. And, you know, I've been to many LinkedIn training sessions, and this is a conflicting thing that happens all the time about that. Some people say you're not found very well, and some people do. I took mine off about 18 months ago. But what's really important is your headlines. And these should be how people can read them and understand them. And sometimes your mindset is the words you want to use because they sound really good. But actually, do people search them? Do people actually find you with some of those wordings? Then they might not. So make sure your headlines are to the point and that people can understand what you do by looking at you. And you can see here, I've got Love Biz all over the place. It's my priority business. As I scroll down here, you can have a link to your website. The contact information is there. Now I've got my SJC marketing email on here because that's the, I've had that account on LinkedIn for such a long time. But if you look here, my LinkedIn tree, my link tree goes to all my email addresses. And it's really interesting how many people have old email addresses or personal email addresses on LinkedIn. And then when you want to contact someone you're connected with, actually they don't use that email, or you know, it's not being used and not read regularly. So make sure your contact details in your profile are up to date. And that's really, really key here. And you can see here I've got hashtags, which I'm going to mention in a little while. And this is obviously how my my profile reads to me, not to you. So you'll see there's edit things. So you can see my analytics. My views get seen by a lot, any posts, articles or anything like that gets seen by a lot of people because I make time for LinkedIn. It's my best friend. You'll see on here I've got featured posts. So I update this and also take them off. So I've always got featured posts, which sits, and you can just edit and add here. The my activity, if you want to see what people are up to, my about, and also my businesses and my past history. Not that we look at that often, but you'll see here both businesses are logoed because they're both set up as the businesses, so I can tag both of them in any posts. So make sure, firstly, before you do anything else, that your profiles are up to date and looking really good, just as you would your website or anything you do, even a printed advert. Make sure it looks professional. And that's where I'll pause that. Here we go. Thank you. Thanks, Pyle. I want to talk to you about algorithms because everyone talks about them, don't they? On Facebook, on Instagram, and on other platforms. And the same goes for LinkedIn algorithms. And every platform is different. And I am going to come on to hashtags, but it can depend on the content you use, the amount of hashtags you use. But one of the biggest things that will affect your posts, and remember this for every format you use, don't use third-party software and don't link as much as you can out of that platform. So if you're doing something and you've got an event taking place, make sure the event is set up on LinkedIn or Facebook and you promote that link. If you start putting on your main post a link to go out of the platform, it'll drop you down. It won't let you reach as many people. So try and keep in the platform you are in. And I hope I hope that's understood. But a lot of the platforms nowadays don't like any of the third-party software. So Facebook, for instance, I know we're not talking about Facebook, but you've got Meta and you can do all your scheduling. My advice is, and I never, ever schedule anything in LinkedIn. It's always live. it's always me at the time, because it can have quite a lot of people action things and engage with you quite instantly. So don't use that third-party software. And as I've put, try to keep links that you are using in the platforms. Algorithms change so many times on any of the platforms, and it's really hard to keep in touch. But these are the newest things that I'm giving you, the newest patterns that I can give to you. So I'm always scratching my head when someone goes, all the algorithms this and the algorithms that. So just remember, stay in the platform you are in. Now, we've got loads of people in LoveBiz who can help us with our content. The key is with content is, now, I'm sorry, I was just having a little pause then in my brain, how to just say this. People don't read stuff. I know that because I can put something out even to LoveBiz members. Well, they'll read the first line and then they'll ask me a question, even though that information is all there. People don't read. So content is king, and you have to think of what you put in your content, particularly for LinkedIn. My advice is never sell, always advise, share tips, share the reason you want to do something, make it about you. Content on LinkedIn doesn't have to even be about your business. I've put posts on about all sorts of things that are nothing associated with LoveBiz or with SJC marketing, but they're just views that I would like to speak to people about, or I want to share my view. Nothing too political. I've noticed there's a few people putting quite awful posts about what's happened with our new Prime Minister passing things. I would suggest you don't get into anything political, but you can put news articles, share a news article and put your view. I shared Mary Portas's podcast the other day because it was fabulous, and the lady in the podcast who was on there is actually going to come and speak for LoveBiz. I'm just organising that this morning to find a date for her to come and speak for LoveBiz. How did I connect with her? I will share that in a moment with you. But content is king. And on your content, you can put hashtags and things. And I'll come on to how many you should be putting and why you should be putting them in a moment. If you've got a post that you really want to put a lot of content in, do an article instead. People tend to sit and read articles. They know they're going to be longer, whereas posts, keep them quite short. Now, when I say short, it depends on the content, but I would really do no more than 2 or 3 very short paragraphs and keep it that way. Keep it nice and to the point, but also sharing your personality as well. And one thing with content, if anyone writes for you in content, it needs to sound like you. It needs to be, we need to be hearing your voice in our heads and thinking, gosh, that doesn't sound like Sue Crooks. That's weird. It's perhaps because someone else has written that content. But content is key in your posts. You want to get engagement. And now I'm talking about content. When people comment on your posts, comment back, like, engage. I know life's very busy and things, but it's another way. If you have 30 comments and it can be 15 from your people who are engaging and 15 from you, you actually go higher up the ladder. So more people can actually see your post, the more engagement you get. So make sure you respond to people, even a thank you. You know, so just go back and engage. If you're going to put time into LinkedIn, and we saw the business development time, make sure you do put that time in. And don't go into LinkedIn once a week. It doesn't work because you could have missed so many opportunities. Make sure you do a small amount of time on LinkedIn, but consistently. So it could be every other day. I'm on LinkedIn every day because I have so much going on in there. Just part of my business life now. But just make sure you engage back to others. The power of the hashtags. On LinkedIn, it's advisable for the algorithms, those headache things, that you put 3 hashtags. That is the best amount of hashtags you put in your posts. And why should you put hashtags in your posts? It's because the best thing you can be doing is following hashtags on LinkedIn. So I meet so many new people who I follow hashtags, and their posts come up. I've never met them, but I can engage with them, and then we can build the relationship. Then we can connect with each other. So do follow hashtags. And I haven't actually put how to follow hashtags on here, but I can certainly drop a screenshot in. And really, those hashtags should be so niche. If you do make them too generic, they're followed by too many people. So really think about your hashtags, of what you put into your posts and what you follow. And you can update them. So every month you might want to update your hashtags and change them, because the beauty of anything you do in the land of social media, LinkedIn, is you can adapt and change everything. But you also would be reviewing at all times. Don't just sit there and keep doing the same old, same old, same old, same old. At the end of the year, you go, I don't like LinkedIn, I'm not getting any business. It's because you haven't adapted anything, because it might not be working. Or we really want it to be working super duper well. So it's really key that we look at what we're doing. Hashtags are so important for Facebook, for Instagram, for every format. And I'm talking the algorithms here across all those different platforms can really mess up if you use too many hashtags. Gone are the days when you put 30 hashtags on Instagram. It completely messes up your algorithms on Instagram, and also it looks so blooming spammy. So remember that 8 is what should be the practice norm for Instagram, 4 for Facebook. Just there, you've got some extra tips off me. Searches and connections. Well, did you know it's an absolute no-no to go and befriend someone on Facebook that you don't have a relationship? It's rude and you shouldn't do it. But is that the case for LinkedIn? Think of the name of the platform, LinkedIn. We can go and connect, and we can go and meet people. And I'm going to show you 2 kinds of searches, and it's perfectly fine to do these. And there's a lovely little picture of me with my binoculars in my garden, searching for all my future clients, my future speakers for events, my future collaborators. There I am searching. It's not really me, by the way. I don't have a hat like that or red binoculars. The first way of searching is called a Boolean search. And if you've been on one of my masterclasses over the years, you will have heard me talk about the Boolean search. And I picked something quite niche here. I'm not sure if Stella Monroe's here or anyone else who's a celebrant, but I picked this purposely because it's very, very niche on a Boolean search. So here is how you search it. You can see here on the search facility here, funeral director and West Midlands. And oh, let me just go back one. And lo and behold, 13 results come up. And you can do this and you can drill in, you can do any, you do managing director, Leicester, you could do leads, marketing director. You can search anything on a Boolean search, which is fabulous. And I really would suggest, think of who you're targeting, perhaps drilling in a little bit more rather than just names. Think of the more direct titles in business. Boolean searches are great when you start out. 13 results just in the West Midlands that I can connect to, and that's absolutely fine. And I'm going to show you how to connect in a second, in a way where we're not going to be salesy or anything. So you can see there 13 results. But if you're going to be serious about LinkedIn and use it as one of your main parts of business development, connections, networking online, Sales Navigator. is the way to go, and I use it, but I'm going to warn you ladies, there is a cost. So if you want to try out Sales Navigator, I would suggest try it for a month, but when you do it for that month, make sure you allocate time, because it's not cheap, but I will tell you what, ladies, it is the absolute best thing that I've been told about, and I've been using Sales Navigator for 18 months now. And this is why. Because when I search funeral director West Midlands, 13 results turns into 139 results. So if you're going to have a month on business development, Sales Navigator is just great. Because what happens is some people don't want to be found on Boolean searches. They're not set up their pages quite right, but Sales Navigator drills really deep. And you can even find people who have been, who've had a change of career in the last month. You can find people who've been active on LinkedIn in the last 30 days. You can drill down so much. Like on my target audience is decision makers, women who are decision makers in business for, say, our Synergy group. So I'm going to be connecting with managing directors, business development people, more senior people. And that's all I want to connect with on Sales Navigator. And I've built my connections to just under 10,000 connections. These are people who are following me. We're not just connecting. And this is something I've built over lockdown, really. I've spent a lot of time. So in Sales Navigator, and I get no money from LinkedIn promoting it, even though there's a cost, I would say, you know, pick a month where you think, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do Sales Navigator. And I can spend some more time with you on that. And I can really show you how to make those connections. But you can see that, look, Boolean search, which is free, which is fantastic, 13 results. Same results, sorry, same terms, 139 results. It really is the way to go if you're going to have a really good business development month. You can connect with people, and it's perfectly fine to connect with people. I never just do a connect. I always send a message. And here's an example of the message that I send to people that works. And you can obviously develop your own intro message. It's only short. So this is something I actually physically use. I'm not selling anything. And I'm telling them I want to tell them more. A very small snippet about Love Biz for our Impact Executive Northern community. I've put in the bit about being here since 2012, because I think that's really important, because there are so many blooming new networking businesses out there. I want to tell people we're established. That's an introduction message. I am going to come back to this and go live on my platform again in a second. And this is how I follow up. So if someone connects with me, I make sure I follow up. And this is one of my messages that I follow up with. So you can see here, I'm reminding them who I am. I always use their name. You'll see here, hello there, Sue. Could be any of you, Jenny, Jane, whoever. I always use people's names. And the reason is because people are so used to copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. I always add the name because they know it's for them. And the same here. I always add someone's name. And even though I am a copy paste person, because I have to be, because if I've got 40 connections sitting in my inbox from yesterday, which happens, I am going to go back to them with their name, but I'm not going to be retyping that message. And I know people don't like that, but I'm not selling to anyone on my messages. And that's something that really does blatantly put people off when someone tries to sell. I had a message this morning trying to sell to me. We've not spoken before. She's connected with me. Come in for a hard sell straight away. Not interested. It's about writing books. if she knew me, she knows I don't even read many books. For those who were with Rosemary know that I've only read one book in about the last 12 months. So it's not my thing. I've always said I'll never write a book, even though I've got some great stories. I do lots of videos and things, but I'll never write a book. But here's my message, and you can go back and have copies of this, it's fine, and adapt it. But can you see where I put the link here? Not to our website, straight to the LinkedIn event, and I'll show it you in a second, because that's where we're heading. We're off to events. So I'm going to stop sharing. Do you all want to take a deep breath? Have a shake out for a second. Oh, it's just me then. Right then, are you enjoying this, by the way, or am I bamboozling you? Or are you sitting there thinking, well, Sue, I know all this. I just know it all. Right, let's share again, and we're going to go back into the world of my LinkedIn account. So hopefully we can see that. Okay, so, oh look, there's Ash. Don't think she's on today, but hi Ash. Right, you can see here my profile, so you'll see my news feed and everything down here. Let's see if there's any other members. We know Hayley and people, so yeah. So I'll have a good look at that in a short while. So you can see here events. So all my Love Biz events that I host go in here. So I'll click on events, and also the events that I am attending. So you look here, we've got Female Focus with Nat West and Paul Walker, Business Matchmaker. There you go, Paul, I've done a plug for you. This Thursday, well, who's speaking? I bet they've got a really good speaker for Nat West. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Let's see. So we've got information, see more. Oh, Sue Crooks, tagged, always a good thing. So that is an event that I'm going to. So I've made sure that I'm all in there so I can see as well. Is Kyle and NatWest's event that I'm speaking just for 10 minutes. Ladies, how am I going to do that? 10 minutes, God, that's just my hello and welcome. So I'm going to show you my Synergy event. I think Kirsty's in the room and a few other Synergy people coming along to our event. So you can see here, looks professional. We even have a little picture of the table. This is how we brand all of our events. If you see, it's got all the details. Its event is held by Love Biz Networking, and that's really important. And I'm going to tell you why in a second. So you do need your business set up in LinkedIn. You'll see here all the details about the event, just there, just like we would put on Facebook and on the website. But this is the important bit, and this is why your Love Biz Networking is setting up your, your business sets up. Because on Manage, I've made it set up so people have to register. And that's really important, because when people are just coming to attend an event, they can just click out. So when that event's happened, you won't have any record that they've said they're coming or not, because obviously, how events work is not everyone comes to the event who's registered or saying they're coming. It's actually probably only about 20% of people who actually attend. But rather than seeing managed attendees, you can see here, look, lovely Stella, and we've got other people, Cara, Justine, Veronica, our members who are coming. Oh, she's not a member anymore. Steph, Gail, I don't know. Hello, if you're in the room. You'll also see other people. Rose, she's a guest, but I know she's coming. So you can message them saying, hey, you've not booked yet. Really nice comment, saying they've not booked. But also the best thing is, and for you for keeps, but you must have a privacy policy in your LinkedIn event. You must have that. You must have one if you've got a website. It's a legal requirement. So I always put a link in saying, here's my privacy policy. You have to do it as part of the LinkedIn setup. But the great thing is you can download, you can see that hopefully happening, all of those people, and on there it's got their business names, their businesses, their titles, their email addresses. That's really important, because I can follow those people up then. I've got that data. If ever LinkedIn went under, like a lot of platforms, I've got that data, and they've accepted that because they've registered with my privacy policy. So if you are doing events, and I bet you loads of you on here do events, whether you host them, co-host them, get them on looking professional on LinkedIn. We in Love Biz always put our events on Facebook as well. And we, until this year, we put them on Eventbrite, but we're not using Eventbrite next year because we haven't had one booking, because it's so noisy and there's so much free stuff on there. One of the things on Eventbrite that we found, lots of people registering not from this country, and we knew there wasn't a hope in hell of them coming to the event, and it was a waste of time setting up 200 odd events for the year, nothing from it. So you do have to look. And actually, I know LinkedIn is where I get bookings from for my Love Biz events. Now, it depends on whether you're business to business or business to consumer, but even business people are consumers. Try it. Try setting up an event in LinkedIn and try it and invite people, because that's another thing. If you click invite, you can invite lots of people to that event. So you can see here all my connections, but the greatest thing is you can do it by location. So if I was inviting somebody to a London event, it would come up, show results, and all the people, not that I'm going to because it's a Birmingham event, you can actually tick, 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 and invite all your connections from that particular area to your event. And it will bring up lots of areas. So if we're in Leicester, we can bring all our connections. You've got to build your data. You've got to build your connections first. You see there's lots of people who you can connect. And that's much better. That is just such a great way of introducing people to your events. And there's dimensions for each platform, just making sure it looks professional, looks welcoming, and looks like it's going to be a really professional event. Now then, let's go back to, oh, I've got 14 comments. Oh, I hope there's some juicy, juicy questions in there. Let's go on to my PowerPoint. Here we go. So we've looked at events. We've actually not, we're doing okay for time, so I'll be able to go through some of these things with you again. It just takes a second or two to go through, go back. It doesn't like it when I've got links in things. Sorry about this. I must remember to take out my links. Right, every platform has got some kind of insights. And if you are using any platform for promoting your business, you would be absolutely foolish to not be looking at your insights every week or every month, because you need to know what's working for you and what isn't working for you. And if you're sitting here thinking, oh, I haven't looked at my insights for a year, then if you've posted anything on your business pages, then what are you doing? How do you know what's working? I'm really bossy today, aren't I? But that's me anyway. I am bossy. So in LinkedIn, there is an insight for you to look at your profile. Now, I know when I did the LinkedIn Masterclass in the summer of the first lockdown in 2020, I know my profile number, and I know there's a couple of you here who did the whole 10-week course with me, the Marketing Mastermind, and we touched on all of this. I know back then, excuse me, back then my profile was 74 out of 100, and I was really pleased with that. I think Monica's in the room today, so I think she'll remember. She won't remember my number, but back in the beginning of lockdown, I was really pleased. And because I'm consistently working on LinkedIn, I'm now up to 77 out of 100, and I'm going to give you the link to go and look at your social selling index. The thing I absolutely hate about this is the name, because we're not supposed to sell as such, build relationships and things, but I wish they'd just call it something else. And this is on LinkedIn, and I would love you to all go and check your social selling index in LinkedIn and send me a screenshot. Because what I want you to do, ladies, is work on LinkedIn for the next couple of months and send me another screenshot in a couple of months and see where you've built. So you're establishing your brand, you're finding the right people, you're engaging, you're building relationships. And I'm actually on the top 1% of the industry in the UK of LinkedIn, because I am using it as a business tool. And I'm only 77 out of 100. So it's really key that you consistently are working on it. But please do. I'm going to give you the link now. Okay, that is the link. I'm going to share that into the event page on Facebook as well. So you can just click straight there. Go and find your social selling insights, and you'll be really interested to see and build on it. Because the reason you're here today, hopefully, is because you want to work with LinkedIn and learn a bit more and do better and meet more people. So go and build on it. Thank you. There we go. As I've said, review, assess, and adapt. So any marketing project, whatever it may be, needs to be reviewed and understood and work out what's a great success and also why something has failed, because we all have to work that out. It's really good to learn and then do lots of great things, but not everything is going to work all the time. And the way the world is at the moment, it's blooming bumpy, and it's going to be like a roller coaster, and we need to be out there more so. And I remember saying this, I mean, Jackie, I know Jackie's here, Paul's here, Julie's here, our host. Back in March 2020, our words were stay visible and stay connected, thinking the world was going to become some lovely rose garden just a few months later. But actually, look where we are. Look at where we are in business, how actually fragile some businesses are. Look at what we need to do to support each other in business. And also, as business owners, most of us are in the group, we need to protect our businesses and keep them going as much as possible. So we need to be trying and adapting new things. And what's brilliant is that I know there's people here today in the room that started businesses in lockdown. And actually the stats say, and I shared this at our event yesterday, a new business that's set up in lockdown is more likely to survive than a business that's 20 years old that hasn't changed or adapted themselves and keep on plodding along. They're less likely to survive in the world we live in at the moment, because people who set up their businesses are more likely to be pivoting and changing and adapting and moving with the times if they set up their business recently. So it's really key. I mean, here at Love Biz in the networking world, which we are totally, networking is nothing like it was previous to lockdown. I think everyone will agree it's very different. And we're always trying to make things change or bring things in for the good, for the better for our members, rather than just staying very stale. And that's where some networking organizations have, well, they're not there anymore. So it's really very hard. So remember, review, assess, adapt. And you know what, ladies? We can, Sandra Wiggins is here, so I'm going to say it. We can bloody do this, right? We can do it. If we all work together, everyone in this room today, we can do it. We've just got to change and tweak things. And here's my last slide, you'll be pleased to know. And I'm going to have 10 minutes for you for extra Q&A and things. Build your network, connect, engage, invite, and be consistent. And that is just so important on LinkedIn. So important. I'm going to stop sharing now. Have I fired you up? Have I? Yeah, have I? Who's going to make changes to their LinkedIn? Brilliant, brilliant. Who's not? Who's really happy? Please be honest. Who's really happy with everything it is at the moment? I've got 2 screens here. Let's have a look. Thank you. Debbie Moore. She's reviewing hers. Eva. Yeah, good. I'm going to look at the chat box now. Haven't been on. Right, I'm going to say one thing, right? There's one thing that infuriates, I can't say the words, makes me really cross, is when you connect with somebody and there's someone you really want to connect with, and they come back to you and say, oh, I haven't been on LinkedIn for 6 months. How do you think that is? Why be on it? What is the purpose if you're not going to do anything in it? What I would do is I'd take my profile off. If I was going to Australia for a year, God, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? And I wasn't going to do any business for a year, I would take my profile down. I would take my Facebook business page down, because the worst thing you can do, and I just want to go, why are you here then? Why? Don't do it. If you are part of the LinkedIn community, show up. Those words I said right at the beginning, show up and be seen. Let people engage with you and you engage with others. There was something else I was going to say then, extras, an extra bonus snippet then, and I've forgotten, but let's have a look at your, let's have a look, see if we've got some questions. Right, if you've got a question, add it in the chat box, even if it's something I've not covered. So go and add something to the chat box. But make sure, I'm looking at who's in the room today. I was going to cover more on the personal corporate branding. The corporate branding is the graphics and things. But some of you hate videos, don't you? I know you do. But actually, I know. But you know what? Video works so well. And shows your personality. Because we could all look like beautiful models, but have, you know, but not sound like them or act like them. Well, we do look like beautiful models anyway, all of us. But let people see your personality. And I'm going to see Adrian Carter probably nod here, because she is the queen of communications. And ladies, you have her doing a workshop just for you in a month or so. But let people see who you are, because the know, like, and trust is all about you. Yeah. So I know I'm not everyone's, you know, cup of tea or piece of cake or whatever, but because sometimes I'm a little bit over enthusiastic and sometimes super bossy, but only bossy for the good. But I'm very, very passionate about what I do. And some people probably go away and think, oh God, that's Sue Crook, she's so blooming annoying. But it's about showing my passion, and that's who I am. If I started to talk to you being as dull as dishwater, someone would think I'd been taken over by aliens, because I am who I am. So it's really important. Monica's laughing. I haven't been taken over. Maybe I was taken over by aliens years ago, and if this is, you know, it might not be me. But be who you are, and that is so important. So look professional in your corporate branding, but show your personal branding. And I know we have people here who specialize in that. It's so important. Videos. Julia Murray did a fantastic video recently, and I remember watching it, and I can't remember how long ago it was, because time is just a blur at the moment. But video is so important. But think, when you do video, we could do a whole thing on video, of backgrounds, lighting as well, looking professional. There's people who come to Zoom events like this, and all you can see is their tops of their heads. And you would, you know, I'm doing a video now and it'd be really silly. And in the dark, you know, so remember, Faye Smith's doing something for us actually in a couple of weeks about some videos and photos for us for our Majestic meeting. I can't wait for that. You know, think of how you're looking, but video is great. And keep it short, 30 seconds. If you're talking at 8 minutes, no one's watching you. Sorry, but you know, you've lost people. People don't have time to do that.